I think most of us can agree 2020 hasn't been a year any of us could have ever predicted. I think it'd be easier predicting Nintendo than being able to predict what 2020 had in store for us. And it's been kind of, actually, not kind of, a pretty sour start to the new decade. And I know this is a very minimal thing, but I felt empty last week. I truly did, and I'll tell you why. Because during this time every year, it's like a gamer's Christmas, meaning E3 is here. And
Yeah.
considering we're Nintendo fans, we're going to talk about our Nintendo E3 memories specifically because, for one, that's our specialty, and two, Nintendo didn't really have anything this week. Sony had their conference, Microsoft, I think, announced a few things, but Nintendo didn't really have anything, and it just kind of felt empty. But the good news is, we can always remember the past and talk about our memories and reminisce about them. And I feel like with E3, we have a lot of memories about it, and I felt it would be a cool video to share those memories, even though E3 didn't happen this year Nintendo wise.
Yeah. Uh, E3 has a special place in my heart as a gamer because um like you said, it really is the gamer's Christmas. You never know what you're gonna get, obviously. I mean, sometimes you will because rumors and leaks, but it's just the hype leading up to it. That's just incredible. And some years suck, but man, when some years are good, they are good.
Yeah, they totally do. And yeah, like you said, there aren't going to be good E3s every year, but I would say a majority of them have been amazing. And there are some
Oh,
E3s that I really have good memories of. Now, since you've been gaming a lot more than I have, I think you should start this because I didn't start watching E3 until 2013 and
mhm,
live when it was happening around 2014. Mainly because I didn't have a
right.
phone, but I actually slept before E3 2013 started and I woke up to all the announcements.
Oh, I think I remember that actually, like vaguely. But I guess I'll start. Um, E3. I think it was either E3 2009 or E3 2010. That was my first E3.
You were telling me it
Um,
was the one with Cammy Dunaway, but not the one
yeah,
that everyone remembers. It was where they announced Galaxy 2, so 2009.
yeah. 2009 was the one that I remember. Um, I remember that one. I remember it specifically because Galaxy was a childhood game of mine, and I was very excited for Galaxy 2. And then shortly after, I figured out that E3 was kind of this yearly event, and I started looking through YouTube for like conferences from past years. So I saw conferences of when the Wii was revealed, and it was called Evolution. Um, I saw conferences when Reggie came out, um,
Is it giving the
and
speech that I'm thinking of? My name is Reggie.
yes,
I'm about kicking ass.
yeah,
I'm about playing game or taking names, and we're about playing games. That one.
yes. Oh my God, dude, that's if you don't know who Reggie is, you just need to hear that speech to understand who he is. Just
Ah,
it's
Reggie and
it's it's
Iwata.
such it's such a shame that Reggie's not with Nintendo anymore. But you know what? I think he deserves the break. But
He
I
can
also
play Animal Crossing
remember,
now.
yeah, I can't remember who it was. It was either Reggie or Iwata who introduced the Nintendo DS. I remember that.
I think it was
I
Iwata.
also I think it was Iwata too. And then I remember specifically Reggie introduced the Game Boy Micro, which I thought was I still think is kind of dumb because I honestly don't think anybody would want to play on a screen that small. I think it's more of a novelty item, but it was still cool either way.
Ah, if you ever get your hands on one, it'll change your life. I guarantee that. Because once you go micro, you can't come back. So
Oh yeah, can't
going
wait to
on to
go for the
that.
Game Gear Micro.
But the difference is with the Game Boy Micro, you can play more than 4 games. When on any color.
That's true. and it's
So
not $50.
going on to watching older E3s, yeah, I've seen a few, but that was mainly just to see beta footage of games like New Super Mario Brothers, which looked very different in beta, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Mario Kart DS, Mario 64 DS, a lot of stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I would say the way that I got a lot of my gaming news when I really got into Nintendo, I would say this was about 2011 or so when I really got into Nintendo because I started playing Nintendo games in 2010 with New Super Mario Brothers, but then after that, it just escalated from there. So,
Mm.
remember Nintendo Power?
Oh man, dude, I miss Nintendo Power all the time.
Yeah, I just miss it so much. There were so many cool things in Nintendo Power, all the illustrations. The coverage of
Yeah,
games was nothing compared to those illustrations. It was just so much fun to just look through it, hear about the games
yeah.
coming out. That was
It
one of
just
the
had
ways I,
so
yeah,
it had so much personality as a gaming magazine, and it was just people. I don't think people. If people are a little young, they probably don't have a vague idea of what we're talking about. But man, Nintendo Power was just great back in the day. I remember they had like their anniversary issue, and they had like a callback to their first ever issue with the claymation Mario 2 cover. I
that
don't
was
know
the
if you
final
remember that.
issue.
Oh, that was the final issue. Okay, I remember that one. Because I remember I loved how that looked, and I think I started reading Nintendo Power a little too late because they had ended right around when I think the Wii U started, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I subscribed in August of the month or the year where they discontinued it. I think it was 2012. But the good news is they refunded whatever the subscription cost was. I was like, I don't know, I think in seventh grade during the time, but it still was sad seeing it
Yeah.
go, and no other magazine is like Nintendo Power. But, anyways, I got a lot of my information that way about upcoming releases, and when I looked at E3 2011, a lot of this stuff was 3DS games, but there were also some Wii U announcements, which at the time, I was, I think I graduated fifth grade around the time, and I thought the Wii U
Yeah.
was just an accessory for the Wii, like so many people did, but they had
Hmm.
Smash Bros. Announced for it. I think they had the
Oh
new
yeah, I
Pikmin
remember
announced
that.
for it. I remember reading
Hmm.
about those. But the one that always caught my eye was Luigi's Mansion 3 or 2 on the 3DS. Well,
Hmm.
it's known as Dark Moon now. Then you
Yeah.
got the Super Mario 3D Land, Mario Kart 7. A lot of the 3DS
Hmm.
announcements from 2010 I was very interested in, even though I didn't get a 3DS until about 2012. But
Hmm.
that's how I got a lot of my E3 information in the early days. And this is another one. This is way more obscure than Nintendo Power. But do you remember on the Wii the Nintendo channel where you could get this channel? It'd give you a ton of Nintendo videos. It also give you demos you could play on your DS. It was so cool. They had
Yeah. Uh,
what was the thing they had? It was before Nintendo Minute. There was a little show
Oh,
they did.
oh man, was it
Announcing stuff.
Nintendo? Was it on the 3DS or the Wii?
The Wii. It was on the Nintendo channel.
Um, Man, I don't remember because I thought you were talking about Nintendo Video.
No, they had something like that on the 3DS, but they had this thing where they'd announce a bunch of games that have videos and stuff, the DS download thing. And I remember
Yeah.
seeing trailers for New Super Mario Bros. 2 and New Super Mario Bros. U back in 2012, and I was a huge New Super Mario Bros. Fan at the time. So I was very excited about those games and just the Wii U in
Yeah.
general. Again, like the 3DS, I didn't get it until over a year later. I think that was for the better though. But
Yeah.
those are just some
You know,
very early memories I have with E3. And it wasn't up until 2013 where I really started to get into it. And then after that,
yeah.
it's just like pure passion for Nintendo's E3s.
Well, so before we head into 2013, I do want to point out something about uh, E3 2011 through 2012. One of my favorite parts of E3, and this isn't here anymore, just like Nintendo Power, was the Iwata Asks segments that they had, where he just interviewed developers about games, and it was just so genuine, and it was just so informative as well because uh, nowadays they'll announce a game, they'll have a developer's comment, well, not even a developer's commentary, they'll have some PR people from Nintendo of America play it, and then that's it, and you won't hear anything for a few months. With Iwata asks, he asks the questions that fans were actually asking about. you know, it's like, oh man, I miss Mr. Iwata so much. He
God
was a
rest his
true
soul.
fan. Yeah, he was a true gamer. He was a true fan, and he was, as much as people say he wasn't that great of a president, I really think he did do good for Nintendo. I really think he gave the company a personality. And I'll be honest, man, Nintendo's missing that nowadays. They're not the same company. They don't have that same magic. And I think Iwata had a lot of that magic, you know? So Iwata asks is very near and dear to me because not only does it remind me of, Mr. Iwata who passed away, but it reminds me of when Nintendo kind of, I'd say, interacted with fans a little bit more. I think. I don't know if you feel the same way.
It's a really good point to bring that up because I feel like criticism for Nintendo and Iwata really just started during the Wii U era. Because in
Yeah.
retrospect, when he was president of Nintendo, let's see what we got. We got so many of the great GameCube games, a lot of the great Game Boy Advance games. Pokemon Gold and Silver wouldn't be two games in one if it weren't for Iwata. We got all the NES classics because he was a developer before then. Wii games. There were so many great things that he did, and you're right, that magic is missing from Nintendo nowadays. Nowadays it feels a lot more corporate, which, the
And
games aren't bad at all. In fact, I would say a lot of Switch games are amongst my favorite Nintendo games, being Super Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, and a lot
yeah,
of others. But I feel like back then, there definitely was more of a family feeling, especially with the directs, because nowadays, it's just some guy announcing the games and just silly little punchlines like, curry on rice! But back then, you had Iwata formally announce everything, let fans know the scoop
um,
on games coming, and I feel like they're way too
yeah,
silent nowadays. But,
they are. And
anyways,
yeah.
I would
And I
say
was just gonna say, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that, you know, not just the magic's gone, man. It's not there anymore.
yeah, we don't have Reggie and we don't have Iwata anymore, but
Yeah,
we still got the games, but you
yeah,
can't ever
we do.
replace them. But
Um,
anyways, going on to how clear Nintendo used to be, before E3 2013, Iwata announced that we were getting a new 3D Mario, a new Mario Kart, a new Smash
mhm.
Brothers 2. Now, just
I re
those three games right there, that's like a dream E3. Nothing has ever really topped it. So
mhm.
I watched E3 2013. The trailers were uploaded on YouTube because I was foolish and slept in. But going on to that, I remember seeing the trailer for Super Mario 3D World. A bit underwhelming, sure, but it was a brand new 3D Mario game coming to the Wii U, and I ended up loving the
Mhm.
game. Mario Kart 8, man, I know the game is really old now, but it really
Right.
looked like next gen Mario Kart. If you played
Oh
Mario
yeah,
Kart Wii, the games look night and day different. That
yeah,
announcement was major. We got a new Donkey Kong game. Smash Bros. I remember the Villager, Mega Man, and the Wii Fit Trainer getting announced. And to think
yeah.
that this was 7 years ago, I mean, wow.
I can't believe it. It feels like it was just yesterday. I remember. I'm not sure if this was the same year. It might have been a year after, actually. I'm thinking about when Pac-Man was revealed,
That was a
which I
year
think,
after. But that was
right.
another
So
great year.
it was. And I'll just get into this quickly. I remember I was in my homeroom class for eighth grade, and you texted me and you said, um, "Dude, you won't believe this." And I think you were actually into the rumor game a long time ago, which is very funny because you don't believe in rumors anymore. Um,
After the
and I,
Rayman leak, how can you?
yeah, and I think you were telling me about leaks with Pac-Man and the chorus kids from Rhythm Heaven. And I kept saying how I wanted Pac-Man and Smash, and I was like, "You're joking. It can't be." And you're like, "Yes, it is." And you showed me the screenshot of Pac-Man. Dude, I went to my friend AJ. I was like, "Dude, Pac-Man's in Smash." And he was like, "Eh, okay."
Isn't he the one who gave you
Oh,
Wario World, or he stole it from you?
no, so I borrowed it from him, but he never asked for it back. So I guess it's yeah, whatever. I guess it's technically quote unquote stealing, but this was like in the eighth grade. I don't remember.
But going on to E3 2014, because I feel like announcing a 3D Mario game, Mario Kart, Smash Bros, and Donkey Kong, that's like a dream
Hmm.
E3 to me. But 2014 was also great. There were so many cool announcements. Of course, you were talking about Pac-Man being announced in Smash. I would say Pac-Man's
Yeah.
still my favorite newcomer. K. Rool's a
Oh
close
yeah.
second.
That was crazy.
Then we got some
Hmm.
announcements of a little bit smaller games, but they're still great. We got the announcement of Mario Maker, which ended up being pretty huge for the Wii U, and I consider that to be the Wii U's swan song, unless you count Breath of the Wild, of course. Then you got the
Hmm.
announcement of Splatoon, which was the biggest new Nintendo IP that we've gotten since I would say Pikmin. Because a thing that a lot of people fail to realize is Nintendo does try to make new IPs, they just sometimes
Hmm.
don't catch on. Remember the codename Steam thing? That didn't really catch on. And then they try stuff like
Yeah.
that. But Splatoon was a major hit, and that was where they announced it. At the time, I thought they talked about it a little too much, but looking back at it, there were some really cool announcements. You got the Smash newcomers, Palutena, Pac-Man, the Mii Fighter. I think there was some Mario Kart 8 DLC announcement. Or actually, no, that was later on. But they also
Hmm.
announced Captain Toad, which I think is a cult classic. It's definitely a great game. And it's on the Switch, 3DS, and Wii U if you haven't played it, so definitely recommend that game. And overall, it was
Right.
just a great E3. Yeah, there were some stinkers announced like Mario Party 10, but other
Uh,
than that, that was a great
let's
E3,
not.
showing some Smash newcomers, Mario Maker,
Yeah.
Splatoon, more information on Yoshi's Woolly World.
Hmm.
I would say that it
Yeah.
was a pretty great E3. But what were your thoughts on E3 2014? Because I know that Pac-Man, he really sealed the deal for you. Oh, and by the way, that was the E3 where they started doing some interesting things. They had the Robot Chicken segments, which were very cool.
Oh yeah. Was that 20? Oh yeah, that was 2014. That's when they started kind of being a little bit meta because that Robot Chicken gag thing, they blatantly made a Mother 3 joke in there, which I was shocked about. I'm still shocked about to this day because they still haven't brought it over to America. But maybe one day. Um, I thought it was interesting. I do think. Um, I do think this was kind of a sign of things. Um,
Like peaking for the Wii U.
yeah, for the Wii U. And I also feel like as well, this was Nintendo dipping their toes into like more creative fields to showcase their games, which was cool. Um, but it did lead to, some downfalls later on, which we probably won't get into. But the 2014 showcase was really cool, and the Robot Chicken thing was really unexpected, to be honest.
And I think I know exactly what you're referring to. I mean, it's looking at it now, it's kind of funny to look back on since it happened 5 years ago. But I think you're talking
Yeah.
about E3 2015 when they did the thing with the Muppets. That was
Ugh,
funny.
yeah.
It was just that
Yeah.
was the E3 where they announced Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, and Metroid Prime Federation Force,
Let's not forget about the star of the show, Star Fox Zero. Of course, it lives up to the name.
which was its average review score on Metacritic. No, that E3 wasn't
Yeah.
very good, and I didn't even have one at all in 2016. But oh man, 2 years later, or actually 3 years later, we got a
Mm.
great E3, and this goes to show that quality matters more than quantity because E3 2017 was interesting because they announced
Mm.
that it was going to be 25 minutes, and a lot of people were worried, what are they going to show off? That E3 was fantastic in so many ways because not only did we get the announcement of some smaller Switch games being Yoshi's Crafted World, that was a great one. We got a few ports like Rocket League coming to the Switch, that was pretty cool too. But that was a
Hmm.
direct that gave us the announcement of Metroid Prime 4, which was huge.
Yeah.
It was showing
That
not
was.
only that Metroid Prime 4 was indeed coming, but it was
Hmm.
showing Nintendo's changed completely Like they were listening
Yeah,
to fan feedback and everything. Now, that whole week
yeah.
of E3, there's so many fond memories back in June 2017 because that was the first
Mm.
time I went to Greece. And the day before I went to Greece, there was E3 2017. And I gotta say, that Super Mario Odyssey second trailer was the best game trailer ever made. Because it starts off with a T-Rex. I thought it was kind of gonna be Smash Bros. Or something like that. Some people said Monster Hunter, but if you saw that T-Rex, you would never think it was Mario. But then seeing
Yeah.
Cappy and everything they showed off, the costumes, the new worlds, the capture ability,
Mm.
man, that was a great E3.
I think personally, the first Super Mario Odyssey trailer is one of the best game trailers ever. I think it tops the second one, in my opinion, because I think, and this is going off a little bit on a tangent, but it's still within the Odyssey realm. But you and I were speculating on this game for months. We
Ever
were
since
we
the
were
five
like
seconds of footage.
yeah, the 5 seconds of footage we kept dissecting. We were like, oh my God, is this 64? Like Mario just looks so fluid and animated, and we didn't know what to think of it. We just thought it was like something completely new. And man, when that I had goosebumps. I almost screamed. It was like I think it was like 12 in the morning. I was watching it till,
Yeah, that was the
and
Switch
I,
presentation.
yeah, I was just that was amazing. That trailer was amazing. The second trailer was okay. I'll be honest. I wasn't too interested with E3 2017. It wasn't my favorite year. I was still gonna get Odyssey regardless, but I was already sold with the first trailer, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you could have showed me the second trailer, I still would have been like, I was gonna get it anyways.
I mean, I was too, but it was always just fun looking back at the memories of seeing all the stuff being revealed. All the speculation towards that game was so much fun, and I can't wait until the next 3D Mario. Be great to see some
Oh
3D Mario remakes this year, but I think next year we're definitely due for a new 3D Mario. Hopefully Odyssey 2, because that's my favorite game of all time. But
yeah.
going on to my final E3 memory that's like really memorable, I would say
Mm,
E3 2019 was a good way to end things off because not
that
only
was
did
a
it give us more information on Luigi's Mansion 3, but it also
mhm.
gave us Banjo and Kazooie and Smash, which fans have been screaming for ever since the N64 era, and the announcement of
um
Breath of the Wild 2. That was a pretty
yeah,
great
that
E3 right there.
that was a great E3. Just the fact that they got Banjo and Smash was huge. Like because he's been rumored for the longest, and I think leading up to E3, people were speculating because there was new merchandise and plush toys being made of Banjo, and everyone was just kind of like, this is a little suspicious. Banjo's been dead since like nuts and bolts. And then what does Sakurai do? He shows the King K. Rool trailer again, and he confuses people, and then we see that famous jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, I remember being confused
Jiggy.
too,
I'm sorry.
because I thought I was
Yeah,
just
I was just
it was towards the end, and I thought I was just dozing off, and then I see the trailer. Oh, it
yeah,
auto skipped, and then you see K. Rool fighting Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and then that's when you
right.
know Banjo is gonna be in Smash. And I gotta
Oh
say,
man,
I would say
uh,
Pac-Man and K. Rool were amongst my favorites, but Banjo was very closely tied, and I think that that was easily the most hyped Smash reveal, and that's why I look back on the
that
E3
yeah.
so fondly because started off with a bang with Luigi's Mansion 3 information. The game got a
hmm
huge improvement over the footage we saw in the E3 or not E3 September 2018 direct because back then it really just looked like an upscaled version of Dark Moon, but now the game
Right.
looks like the best Switch game. In fact, it is the best looking Switch game by Nintendo.
Yeah. Next level, they never disappoint with their animations. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think they
honestly,
have one. They don't have one bad looking game, in my opinion.
for that Mario movie, they should get some of the next level animators because literally when you're playing Luigi's
Yeah,
Mansion 3, it almost looks like a movie. That's how good it is.
it really does.
And it's not
Yeah,
just graphically,
I
the game's great.
I wouldn't be surprised actually if they got some of the next level games people over there because Nintendo is very involved in that Mario movie.
Rightfully so, because they don't want a repeat of the 1993 one.
Even though it's a guilty pleasure of mine, we don't want to repeat that again.
But yeah, that was E3 2019. Great showcase. I would say
Yeah,
that my favorite had to be E3 2013, then followed by 2014, then I would say 2017, then 2019. But all those were great. I had a lot of fun memories looking at Nintendo Power information on the new games coming out, the Wii U, all the rumors towards that. In fact, it was actually rumored that Pac-Man would be in Smash Bros. Long before we even knew what the game looked like, because it was confirmed
yeah,
Bandai Namco was working on it. So just the whole
yeah,
speculation cycle and E3 and everything, it's just very fun
yeah.
looking back at. And even the E3s that I didn't watch when they were initially revealed or
Hmm.
initially came out, they're still fun to look back on because you see all the beta footage of games and you feel this kind of
Yeah,
nostalgia that's not exactly there because you never played the betas, of course. But it's fun looking
yeah.
back at a game like New Super Mario Bros., seeing how it originally started off.
Oh yeah. Here's my question to you. Um, the state of E3 at the moment is a little bit shrouded in mystery. Um, where do you think we go after this year with E3? Because I'll be honest, it hasn't really. I don't really know if it's going to be the same anymore. To be, and in my opinion, I don't know if it hasn't really been the same since I don't know, maybe 2017. Like 2019 was a good year for Nintendo, but I don't know, man. They haven't really been treating E3 like they usually did back in the day. Like they went all out, and
I think
now I don't know.
I think that's because they just embraced Nintendo Directs. So you get the pretty big announcements in E3, then you get some big announcements in Nintendo Directs. I feel like they don't feel like E3 is as important anymore, but it's always fun to
Yeah,
look back. We do have the Nintendo Direct still, which is great because you're getting more information multiple times a year usually. It's been such a long
well,
time since we had a general direct, but
I know. Yeah,
considering the
it's just
circumstances, I can see
yeah.
why. But
Here's
future Nintendo and E3, I think they're just going to continue what they're doing now. Just digital
yeah,
presentations and maybe heading on some bigger stuff at E3, and that's pretty much it because the last
yeah,
time they did a live presentation, those aren't always exactly the most fun to watch. Remember
yeah.
Splatoon 2?
Yeah, it was. I'm not saying like the live presentation. I'm just saying just some of the things that they feel like they need to announce at E3 are a bit underwhelming. But here's my big question to you. Obviously E3 is canceled this year, but let's imagine it wasn't canceled. What do you think we would have seen the past week?
So I definitely think. Are you talking about just if E3 wasn't canceled or if 2020 was normal? Because those have two
Uh,
very different answers.
hmm. If 2020 was normal,
And the thing never happened that.
yeah, of course.
Okay. So, assuming that everything was normal and no delays happened and the thing going on right now didn't affect every workplace in game development, I think that we
Right.
would have seen the Christmas title this year, which was probably going to be Mario Kart 9. There are some
Right.
rumors that it got delayed. The 3D Mario remakes, I think it would have had a heavy emphasis on Mario. It would talk about
Hmm.
a lot of Mario's backlog coming to the Switch, like the platformers and stuff like that. And I also
Hmm.
think that they'd announce, some smaller stuff like DLC for certain games, announce
Hmm.
more stuff for Animal Crossing. I think it'd be very Mario focused. So I would say
Yeah.
the major announcements would be Mario Kart 9 and the 3D Mario games coming to the Switch, the remakes. But
Right.
they would probably also announce Pikmin 4. I feel like it's time for that. They said it was near completion in 2015. So I'm guessing it's going through
Hmm.
some sort of development hell, or they meant, hey, Pikmin on the 3DS. We'd probably get
Right.
something along the lines of a sequel to a more obscure Nintendo series, maybe a new Chibi Robo or something like that, because you never know what Nintendo's going to give you. But
That's true.
I would say overall, E3 could have been something really special this year, but
I
there's
think.
still hope
Yeah.
because
I think. Well, what I was gonna say is that I think it would have had a focus on Mario. I think we would have had the 3D remakes. I also think we would have seen our first teaser at the Mario movie. Not really like a teaser trailer, more like concept art, announcement of the voice cast and the directors and the writers. Um, and then let's see, I think they would have ended it with a teaser for Super Mario Odyssey 2 for next year.
That would be
I
great.
think that's what they would have been for.
But if they had the 3D
What?
Mario games, the remakes, and
Yeah.
Odyssey 2, do you think that'd be too much 3D Mario or no?
Well, no, because I'm thinking the Odyssey 2 teaser was more on in the same vein as when they announced Breath of the Wild 2.
That'd be great. And I could see that happening. But like I said, there's still hope because we saw Sony have an alternative press conference for the PS5. Yes, E3 was canceled, but they still did something for it. Microsoft was doing stuff.
Right.
So maybe Nintendo could later on. Because after
Right.
Paper
I mean,
Mario, they have absolutely nothing except DLC for Smash Bros. And Pokemon.
right.
And Animal Crossing, of course. You got the little updates there. But what I could
Yeah.
see them doing
And
is if they
mhm,
can't get third parties on board, I think they're going to do some sort of Mario centric direct at the very least. Because at
mm,
this point, I think the 3D Mario remakes are all but confirmed. And you know how I feel about rumors where
yeah.
usually nothing's true until proven true. I still feel
Yeah.
that way, but I feel like it's very close to being true. And I keep on waiting for the announcement to happen. And I feel like we
I
could
yeah.
see more information on Mario. We saw a new render for Mario promoting
Right.
35th anniversary merchandise. So I think
Mhm.
something definitely could happen. We just have to
Mhm.
wait and see because Nintendo's unpredictable.
They really are. I think we're getting close to some Nintendo news. It's already halfway through June. Um, I think Nintendo kind of has to say something. Whether it's small or big, they can't let the competition beat them to the punch. Even though they're not like direct competitors anymore, um, it still does have an effect on their sales. So Nintendo, we're just waiting on you, you know? And if they can't announce anything right now, that's totally fine as well, because again, circumstances right now that's happening, it's understandable. But um, you know, I think we're at the point in the year where I think they could show us something besides Paper Mario, which, to be honest, a lot of people are on the fence about. We need something that could bring some Nintendo fans together.
Yeah, it's a pretty divisive game. And going on to that, I'm going to make some very short predictions. I do think
Hmm.
that Mario Kart 9 did get delayed, and I think that's a
Yeah.
good thing because I don't want it to be a Mario Tennis situation where it barely has any content and then they just fix it later. I think that's going to be
Right.
delayed until next spring, and I think that the holiday title this year will indeed be the 3D Mario remakes because apparently those are close to completion. So I think at the very least
I.
we'll see an announcement of those soon, and maybe other stuff as
Hmm.
well. Because
I also think. No, go on.
I think Nintendo also has a financial briefing, and they really need to show stuff to investors. They got nothing
Yeah.
after Paper Mario except for DLC, not even a mobile game announced. So they're gonna pretty much have to
Yeah.
announce something. So I would say it's fair to expect something within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. For sure. I think the next 2 weeks are the times we should be looking out for Nintendo news. I also think we might get that rumored 2D Metroid game maybe in October or early September. So
Good point.
maybe we'll have Metroid and 3D Mario remakes as the holiday title. I think the 3D Mario remake is a good holiday title. I think it is.
Usually for like the Christmas titles and stuff, it's new games that have mass appeal. Stuff like Mario, Zelda, Smash Bros, Pokemon, Animal Crossing. We already got most of those series on the Switch. I think Mario Kart 9 was going to be the Christmas title this year, but then they just
Right.
had to change it because it got delayed somehow. Development
Hmm.
kind of took a detour, if you will. But
Yeah. I
I
would
think,
like I would like at least a teaser trailer though, or confirmation that it's real.
yeah,
I'd even accept a logo and then say 2021. I'd
I
be
would,
fine with that.
yeah. I'd say the 3D Mario remasters or remakes, whatever you want to call them, are a good Christmas title though, because pretty much everyone likes Mario, and having some remakes of classic games, I think it'd be a good substitute for a Mario Kart game for a while.
Oh
Because
yeah, for
the health and
sure.
safety of everyone matters far more, and
Hmm.
besides, delaying a game can actually improve its quality a lot. It did with Animal Crossing, and it certainly could benefit for really anything, because as Miyamoto says, a delayed game is usually eventually good, but a bad game's bad forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not in the case of Sonic Forces.
Or Mario Kart Tour,
uh,
or Star
yeah,
Fox
but
Zero, but I digress.
yeah, me too.
But anyways, I think that about wraps it up. I'm Demeech,
And I'm Ty the Guy.
and keep calm and Dada on.